Well, it's a sunny day. Hardly a cloud in the sky. There's only one. One little cloud, all alone. Now everybody's going to know where I live precisely. They're going to look up at the sky and say, I see the same cloud. Now I know where Troy lives. Well, I'm going to do a couple things here today. Where's the microphone in this? I'm trying my other camera. I have no idea where the microphone is, so I don't know how to cover it. I'm going to use this camera today that everybody wants to see, and I'm going to give you the baby cat fix. It's sunny, so she's outside. She gets to enjoy the weather. Say hi to the camera, baby cat. Hey, say hi. Yeah, she's happy to be outside. Again, I don't know where the microphone is, so I don't know if you can hear me or not. It's annoying. I have no idea where the mic is on this. That's another reason I was using the other camera, because I know it well, and this was my backup, in case the other one ever went bad. I've had this for years and just never used it. But anyway, here we are. Had a bit of a crash last night. My roof got ripped off the chicken coop and thrown through the air, ripping down my string that's supposed to be stopping the hawks. So I had a little bit of a repair this morning, first thing. But what I'm going to do right now is put up my electric fencing around the chicken coop and the garden area to keep out the raccoons. So I can relax more about my birds and know they're going to be safe and alive. I just used a sawzall to neatly cut a roll of weed barrier in half for my electric fence, because I don't need a 3-foot strip of weed barrier. I only need this much because my electric fence will go in the middle along the outside of the chicken fence, and this will stop the weeds from coming through around that, so I won't have to trim around the electric fence. And then the rocks that I collect will go on top of that. So we'll take that over there and start rolling that out. These rocks are going to go along my electric fence line, stop weeds and grasses from growing around them. As I said earlier, part of the reason I got my tiller, I wanted to till this garden, is to get free rocks. It's perfect. Next year it's back to Eden style gardening, but this year at least I've got the ground worked. I will have it worked, and I'll have all the rocks I need for my landscaping projects. So it all works out for the best. A lot of rocks. Oops. A whole lot of rocks in this garden. Later, after I till it again, I'm going to rake this and get even more. Baby cat's helping out. So just from 1 minute, that's a lot of rocks. I just gotta go along here and pick these up. And over here, wow, there's a mess of rocks over here. Yeah, a lot of work to do. So one section of netting went halfway around my garden. So this is a much cheaper way of doing this, by far. One wall of my garden cost me $5, so it's not bad at all. Ready to roll out. I'll show you what I got going on. I'll take these with me. I have some netting, weed barrier down, and I'm laying rocks down. And I'm repurposing some of my electric fence pieces and putting the more the sturdier ones here, also because I like the height of the posts on these. And in the back wall I'm going to have to make some. I'm running out of materials. But I've put the better stuff up front also where they're more visible. And the homemade stuff will go in the back where it's not visible. Anyway, I need a ton of rocks for this. Actually I need a lot of tons of rocks now. I've got the whole front row done. All the way around. I have cut an opening for the gate. And come along all the way over an opening for the door, and I've come around a corner nice and neatly, and I've pulled up all the fencing over here around the back area. I want to continue running this weed barrier along here and then put the fencing back up, and I'll have a raccoon proof electric fence. And with the weed barrier I won't have to worry about trimming it. Just occasionally whack down the stuff over here so it doesn't blow up against the wire, but that's it. So it's going to be easier this way. I can't believe it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm only just running the wire finally. What I've done is I've gone, you can see my hand here in comparison to the lowest wire on this thing. And excuse me, I keep swallowing junk out here. I've got this on the lowest wire, which is not very high off the ground. I don't think a raccoon could slip under that without getting zapped. And I'm going to have rocks all the way across, so by the time the rocks are on here in the mulch, there's no way a raccoon's going under. And then I'll have another wire on this rung here, so there's no raccoon going over or under that without getting zapped. And I'm probably going to put another one mid-range to stop coyotes and stuff as well, and foxes. Anyway, I've got my solar charge controller, their solar fence controller that has a 10-mile range and 9,000 volt zap. So my chickens are getting some serious power for protection. Now what I've done is I've tied it off here in this corner, run it around to this corner, and to keep the tension, alright, and also in case something happens here, I've wrapped it around twice and tied it off to itself, okay? And then I started a new piece of wire, wrapped around and tied off to the other wire, and continued on over through here, again down at the lowest setting, the lowest rung, to this point where I wrapped around twice, tied it off, started another wire, tied off, wrapped around twice. And this way, if anything happens to one wire, it won't take down the whole fence. Just that one wire is going to be disconnected. And to make sure for extra security, every once in a while I'll have interconnect between two wires, probably at the ends or whatever, but shouldn't happen. Nothing should break that. But also it's going to keep the tension on that by having a relief here and there. So on my other wire, the long piece, I had a lot of slop, and this at least has a little bit more tension. And in the middle, I'm probably going to put center supports here and there wherever it hangs too far. So we'll see how it looks when I'm done putting the rocks and mulch on. So I'm going to continue on wiring this. I'll be done with the wires and have it running by tonight. It's quite a project. Putting on the rocks and the mulch is going to be a long task, but it's looking good. It's going to look really nice. Once I get the mulch on, it'll look really good. But I don't have any mulch, so that's going to take some time. I just have to keep putting rocks on for now. Today has been nothing but electric fence day. Now, there's certain places where the ground sags, like right here. I've got two choices. I can put a another stake in here and pull it down, which I think is the easier way, or I can fill the mulch higher. And I think what I'm going to do in these sagging places is put a stake. I've got some bamboo stakes. They were only $1.99 at the hardware store. And they're just thin bamboo twigs that are 2 foot high, which are going to be perfect for this. I was thinking about using them inside the garden for stakes and markings, but I think I'm going to use them here. So I might end up doing that here in a little bit. Running around and filling in the low levels. But I've got my electric fence up. I don't have it connected yet. I still have to do a ground wire. Anyway, it's looking good. I don't think anything will get through that. Squirrels might even get stopped. Once the mulch and the rocks are on, that'll stop squirrels from destroying my garden. That's a good thing. Chipmunks and snakes will pass through, but squirrels and raccoons won't. So, looking good. Can't wait to get the mulch down. That'll look nice, but that is a project for another day in the future. That is going to take a lot of mulch to cover all that. But I've got the whole perimeter of the garden staked out. The garden is protected now from raccoons and squirrels, and the chickens are protected from raccoons, and once they run another wire up higher, from foxes, coyotes. Nothing's going to get them. If that electric fence controller works, nothing's going to bother them. Nothing will get through that. Because anything that gets through there also runs the risk of bumping the wire again when they're trying to get through the fence. So I think they're going to be safe when I'm done. With the hawk proofing I did the other day, and I don't know if you can see all of that. I think this camera is more high definition. Again, I'm using the what was my backup camera today. People said it looks better and the audio is better. Anyway, so the birds should be safe from any attack when I'm done here this year. I'm really taking a lot of precaution to protect my birds this year. I lost too many in the last couple of years. Well, the day is getting late, but the fence is looking good. Now here's the gate. Well, it's going to be the gate of my garden. And I've terminated it on the end post. I've got these yellow insulators left over from the when I wired the forest up. And I've terminated it here so the gate can swing out, and the gate will be electrified as well. But that just covers every single little possibility. And then the wire runs along here, and again terminates here. Now I'm also going to run from this point to the door. I'm going to have two insulators on the door itself as well, and that'll just be a looser wire, so it'll flex when I open and close the door. But that's going to be electrified as well, that door. So every possible angle I can think of to protect these birds is going to be covered. Well, I set up my solar fence controller, but the battery's shot, so I got to replace the battery. I drove this into the ground. This is a metal pipe. I put it into the ground about half of its length, so it's about that deep into the ground. So that's pretty good for ground. And then I tied on the positive here, the hot wire, but it's battery shot, so that's not going to work. Now over here, I've wired up the door of the chicken coop, and what I have here is, this is from Tractor Supply. This is insulating tube insulators, whatever, 4-inch fin tube insulators. And I made a simple thing. I just used my Leatherman and just drilled a couple holes in there and zip tied a tube insulator, and then just simply ran the wire from here through and then down and back. So that even the door of my chicken coop is now wired hot for the with the electric fence. This is looking really cool, looking really neat, and that works. That just is flexible. Let's see if I can show you on the camera as I do this. As I open the door, it just bends and flexes freely, so that works fine. So that's good. The door is hot wired, and the whole front of the garden, which protects in the chickens, of course, because the wires run all the way across. I think you can see that out there. Yeah, I think you can. The wires run outside the chicken coop all the way around. All the way around. The only thing I don't have is the gate here. It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm still working. But I've got connected the fence post there. I'm going to do the same thing here. And then I have to fashion a gate of some kind. So, still got some work to do. I think what I'm going to do temporarily is just run some wires and then use a spring-loaded handle on both of them for now. I can step over it as needed, and when I want to drive equipment through, then I just use the spring-loaded handle. So, but I'm going to finish this whole fence tonight, including the front gate, and I'll have it working tonight. So it'll be done. Well, there it is. I got the third strand up all the way around. Now over here is a different electric fence. I need to tighten those wires up, but that's my first electric fence. That's going to be on a different controller, and this one is designed to keep the deer and bigger animals out of the meadow. It goes all the way around the meadow. The second fence, now they share the same post here, but the second fence, which you see is a lot better run and tighter, comes on, it shares up to that point, and that comes around all the way around. I'm pretty happy how this door and this gate area turned out. Looks really good. I haven't run the third wire on it yet. I don't know if I will, actually. This is more important to keep raccoons out of here than anything. So I like how that looks. I like how that turned out. And then I terminated it here where the gate to the garden is going to be, and go across, and here I started again. Again, that third wire is not connected on the onto the fence post of where the gate's going to be, but I'm not worried about that. Now the charge controller is going to hang here on a post, or charge controller, the electric fence controller, but I still got to change that battery. So I'll probably change that battery tomorrow and set up a gate on my garden, an electrified gate, and then I'll be done. Actually, somewhere I have spring-loaded grips. I can actually finish that tonight if I can find them, and then that'll be it. Running out of daylight. So, well, there's the raccoon fencing. Do-it-yourself budget raccoon fencing for to protect chickens and the garden. Just use whatever I had available, terminate it at the post, use baling wire to attach it, and just ran it around. Electric fencing to hopefully stop raccoons. You can tell I used all kinds of different things here in hooking this up. But it's gonna work. I like the looks of it.